Alrighty. Okay, today we start the next chapter, which is on polynomial functions. So I don't know if you guys even noticed this. Pretty much the whole first semester in this course, we're just reviewing Algebra 2. We're reviewing all the functions that we learned. So we started with the easiest ones, quadratic and linear, right? Lines and parabolas. What the heck is that food there? Is that food? Strike one!
That's not my food.
Well, I didn't say it was yours. Whoever dropped it, you got the 2 strikes. For one. Then this chapter we're going to do polynomial functions. Then we're going to do rational functions. Does this even mean anything to you? Rational functions, that's the kind where you get the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. What's asymptotes? And then we do exponential and logarithmic functions. And then we do trigonometric and inverse trigonometric functions. So that pretty much takes us through the whole first semester. In fact, the last 3 chapters or 4 chapters are trigonometry in the first semester. Okay, but today we start polynomial functions. Now, do you even know what a polynomial is? If you look at the notes, stop raising your hand. Next time you raise your hand, strike 3. No raising hands. I forgot what I asked. Don't raise hand! What? What happens on strike 3? You clap your razors.
That means you're getting something the same. That's funny.
Yeah, but now you're going to clap your razors. Why should I have to listen to you say? Okay, let me give you some functions. You tell me whether it's a polynomial or not. Here. Is this a polynomial?
Yes.
50-50 chance.
No.
Theory 3 almost got it all wrong too.
Yeah,
Smith,
Is it? Is that what you're asking me?
give me a yes or no. Is this a polynomial function?
Binomial.
No, yes.
Yes, it is. It's a polynomial. Well, if you look at the notes, it tells you what a polynomial is. What about this? 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. Is this a polynomial?
Yes.
Yes. So, linear and quadratic functions are polynomials. Yes. What about this? This 5. Yes, it is. No, not everything is polynomial. If you look at your notes, a polynomial function is a function where you have x to whole number powers. Now, I'm assuming we know what the whole numbers are. What's the smallest whole number?
0.
No, 0.
Oh, yeah.
So isn't this like 5x to the 0? Therefore, it's polynomial. What about this? 2x plus 3 plus 5 over x. Is this a polynomial? I'm afraid to answer.
Yes.
No, because isn't this like 5x to the negative 1? Is negative 1 a whole number?
No.
Wait, let me get my calculator. No, it's not. 0 is the smallest whole number. I thought we established that. What about this? 4 plus square root of x. Is this a polynomial function? No, because this is like x to the 1/2 power. Is 1/2 a whole number? No. So now you know what a polynomial is, right? You can only have whole number exponents, like these 3. Now, can I assume you guys know the basic operations of polynomials? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. What's multiplication? Okay, suppose I give you a polynomial, like, I don't know, 3x plus 2, and I give you another polynomial, 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. Okay, here are 2 polynomials. You guys know how to add them? I would hope so. I'm not going to even bother doing that. You just combine the like terms. The answer would be 2x squared plus 6x plus 10. What about subtracting? Wait, Smith goes, what?
10.
Can you subtract them? Like this minus that, or that minus that? I hope so. Okay, but what about multiplying? Can we how do you multiply these 2 polynomials?
Wait, why is it 10?
I said 7. Just rewind the video. I said 7.
Let's watch it.
Yeah, let's rewatch it then.
Mr. Park,
Yeah.
is it fun to clap erasers?
You like being stared at all the time.
Oh,
Can you feel the lasers in my eyes just cutting through your head right now?
oh no.
Okay, now what about multiplying? Period 3 failed miserably. You guys know how to multiply? They said, oh, this is what period 3 said. FOIL! No, you only use FOIL when you multiply a binomial times a binomial. Yeah, it's called the distributive property. I really don't understand why teachers teach FOIL, because it only works in this particular case. What if you have a binomial times a trinomial, or a trinomial times a trinomial, or a trinomial times a fournomial? What are you going to do? You can't use FOIL. That's why the general case is called distributive property. Take the first term and distribute it. Go.
6x to the third plus 9x squared plus 10.
Okay, a little bit slow, but that's okay. Take the second term, distribute it.
4x squared plus 6x plus 10.
And notice what I'm doing? This is how my algebra teacher taught me. See how you line up the like terms? I learned this in 8th grade at King Intermediate. Okay, then combine them and you get
6x to the third plus 13x squared plus 21x plus 10.
there you go. That's how you multiply polynomials. Was that a good review or you knew it already? Okay, now what about division? What if I ask you to divide 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 5x plus 7, and I want you to divide that by 2x squared, no! X squared plus 2x plus 3. You guys know that bar means divide, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember how to do long division? Algebra 1? Okay, let's review. So we put the, what is this called here? What is the numerator called when you divide? That's called the dividend. Then you put this thing here, which is called the divisor. Oh, how come now you know? Okay, let's do long division. So basically, you just look at the first term here and the first term there. X squared goes into 2x cubed how many times?
2x.
Then you put it there, and then you multiply that times the divisor. 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus 6x. Now what? Rhymes with subtract. Oh gosh. So you subtract and you get?
Negative x squared minus x plus 7.
Okay. Now, am I done?
No.
Or can I go some more? How do you know when to stop?
Just keep going until you get 0.
No. Go to your room.
You go until it's past x squared.
No. Okay, so you guys have no idea. Okay, let's just keep going. X squared goes into negative x squared how many times? Okay, multiply that times the divisor. Negative x squared minus 2x minus 3, subtract.
X plus
We're subtracting, people.
10.
10. Go some more or stop?
stop,
How come I stop now?
because you're at the x is equal to 0 for the
Oh,
quotient.
because it won't be a
X is-
polynomial.
X
No,
to, x
no.
to the 0 for
No,
quotient.
silent. The degree of this is smaller than the divisor. What is the degree of this? You guys know what degree is, right?
1.
The highest power. The degree of this is 1, the degree of this is 2. When this is smaller than that, then that's when you stop. This is called the remainder. So, if you divide this by this, what's the answer? The quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. That's how you divide. Is it all coming back like a bad dream? Anyway, if you ever forget how to long divide, just do this. 17 divided by 5. 5 goes into that how many times? 3. Then you multiply that times the divisor, right? Subtract. Okay, so what's the answer?
3.4.
3 quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. It's the same thing, except different. That's how you do division. But last year we learned a kind of a shortcut to divide. You guys remember? It's called
Oh, those tables.
synthetic division.
Oh.
What did you guys? Oh gosh, you guys are kidding me. 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 5x plus 7. Divide that by, I don't know, x plus 1. Now, yes, you can use long division. Long division always works. So if you ever come across a problem and you just don't know whether you can use synthetic division or not, do long division because it works every time. Okay, but this is synthetic division. You write down the coefficients of the polynomial here, put a box, make a line like that. What do I put in the box?
So
If you want to divide by x plus 1, what do I put in the box?
1, 1.
How come the other two classes knew?
1, 1.
No, negative 1. 1, 1. Okay, when you do synthetic division, you're dividing by x minus a number. See, isn't this the same thing as x minus negative 1? That's the number that goes in the box. X minus negative 1 is the same thing as x plus 1. You guys remember how synthetic division works? What do I do with this number here?
Divided by negative 1.
No, you drop it down. You guys are just shouting on random things. Elephant! And then what?
Multiply.
Bulldog! You multiply this times this, and you put it here, and then you
1.
add. 1, thank you. Then you multiply that times that, put it here, and then you add.
4.
Then you multiply that times that, put it here, and then you add. Okay, this last number is called the remainder. It's like you guys never seen this before. How come not even period 3 you remembered this? So, if I divide this by this, what is the answer? What's the
2x.
quotient?
2x.
You look at that. These are called the depressed coefficients. What does that stand for? 2x squared plus 1x plus 4 plus the remainder, this is the remainder right here, plus 3 over the divisor. What is the divisor?
X plus
X
1.
minus the number in the box, which is x plus 1. This is called synthetic division. Okay, let me give you another problem. In fact, next week we're gonna have next week, since it's homecoming, we're probably gonna have just a quiz on Tuesday or Wednesday, and that's it. Okay, so here we go. Let's do another problem. 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 5x plus 7. Divide that by 2x plus 1. This is what period 3 said. Oh, Mr. Park, we learned this last year. You go 2, 3, 5, 7, and then in the box put negative half. Well, I'll tell you what, if you ever did this on a quiz or test, this is called a fatal error. You lost all the points. This shows no understanding at all. Wrong! Remember, when you do synthetic division, you're dividing by x minus a number. 1x minus a number. See, this is 2x. You gotta make sure the coefficient is 1 here. So, what can I do to this to make the coefficient of x 1 here? How can I get rid of this 2?
Times the
Multiply top and bottom by
half.
a half. So you're gonna get x cubed plus 3 halves x squared plus 5 halves x plus 7 halves all over x plus a half. Now you can do synthetic division. So 1, 3 halves, 5 halves, 7 halves. See how, like, if you put 2, 3, 5, 7 wrong already, right? What do I put in the box?
Negative half.
Negative half, and then now you just simply do synthetic division. Drop the first number down. Multiply this times this, put it here, add.
1.
That times that, put it here, add.
2.
Oh, you guys think you're good, yeah? Multiply this times this, put it here, add.
5 halves.
That's kind of slow, but whatever. So that's the remainder. So, if I divide this by this, which is the same thing as this divided by this, the answer is, what's the quotient?
X squared plus x plus 2.
Plus the remainder over the divisor. And the divisor is x minus the number in the box. X plus a half. And of course, if you ever left your answer like that, you get at least minus 1 for not simplifying. Multiply top and bottom by 2, so you get 5 over 2x plus 1, and there you go, that's your answer. Anyway, like I said, if you're unsure of whether you or not you can do synthetic division, just do long division, because that works every time. But of course, it's way faster to do synthetic division, right? Okay, let me give you another problem where the other two classes failed miserably, so is there any hope for this class? Okay, we'll see. Let's say I give you a polynomial function, f of x equal 2x to the 5th minus 7x to the 4th plus 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x plus 1. Okay, just make up some numbers. Compute f of 4. How do you do it? Plug in 4, that's what the other two classes do. Yes, that works. You can plug in 4, go 4 to the 5th. Come on, you're supposed to know that. 1024 times 2, 2048, right? How did you know that, Mr. Park? That's because 4 to the 5th, isn't that the same thing as 2 squared to the 5th? Multiply the exponents, that's 2 to the 10th and the 1024, right? Everybody knows their powers up to 10, right? Okay, so this is a bad idea plugging in 4 then.
Do you split it up? No,
No, you do synthetic division. Yes, you can plug in 4, be my guest, but I'm going to do synthetic division. So write down the coefficients of the polynomial, put the box. So if you want to compute f of 4, you put 4 in the box. Do synthetic division, drop the first number down, multiply.
8.
Add.
Negative 1.
Multiply.
7.
Add. Multiply.
The 23.
Add. Multiply.
80.
92. Add.
96.
Oh, I could have done that. Multiply. 96 times 4.
384.
Okay. Kind of slow, but whatever. 385. That's the remainder. So tell me, what's the answer?
385.
385.
How does
Mr. Park, why is the remainder the answer? Well, we learned this last year. It's called the remainder theorem. Hey, Mr. Park, it's on our notes. Here, let me condense it down for you. If you do synthetic division by a number, the remainder is the same thing as taking this number and plugging it into the polynomial. This is the same thing as f of 4. That's the remainder theorem. Does that sound familiar? There were two main theorems you learned last year. One of them is called the remainder theorem, and the other one is called the factor theorem. Neither of them sounds familiar, Mr. Park. Oh gosh. So you guys have never seen this before in your whole life. Okay, has somebody had a question, Pang?
Oh, never mind.
No, I want to hear it. It should be good for the camera.
No, you explained it already. I don't
Okay.
want to make a full.
So does everybody understand the remainder theorem? When you do synthetic division by a number, the remainder is the same thing as taking the number and plugging it into the polynomial.
How did you get the 4? Oh, that's
Because
just
we're
what you're
finding f
dividing
of
up.
4, that's why. Do you guys understand the remainder theorem? Every year the students say yes, and then when they do the homework, no. Well, we'll find out on Monday. Okay, now, let me ask you this. If you did synthetic division, and what if the remainder here came out 0? Is that good or bad?
Both. Good.
What did we learn last year? If you do synthetic division by a number, and the remainder comes out 0, what does that mean?
It's a root.
That means x minus 4 is one of the factors of this polynomial. And why is it important to factor polynomials?
It's still easier.
No, because that's how you solve equations. Like here, okay, what if I ask you to solve this equation? X plus 3, x plus 1, x minus 2 equals 0. What are the three solutions?
-3, -1, 2.
And you know why it's so easy? Because it's in factored form. But see, most of the time, the equations are not given in factored form, like this. Okay, solve this equation. Solve. 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus, give me a number.
23.
Wrong! 3 equals 0. You cannot just shout out something. You gotta give something that's gonna come out nice. Okay. First of all, before I even begin, how many solutions does this equation have? How many
Three.
roots does it have? How do you know?
Degree.
Where did you learn that? In Algebra 2. But you never learned this, the factor and the remainder theorem? But you guys did learn the fundamental theorem of algebra.
But you told us.
Oh, I did? So it wasn't your Algebra 2 teacher. I'm telling. A polynomial equation of degree n has exactly n roots. That's called the fundamental theorem of algebra. So we know that there's going to be 3 roots, okay? Now tonight's homework, I'm making it easy for you. I'm going to tell you one of the roots, okay? So one of the roots, okay, there are 3 answers. Yaga, daga, daga. I'm going to tell you one of them. One of them is 1. Find the other 2. Now if I know 1 is a root of this equation, oh, that's so easy. Synthetic division. Root 2. Okay, what number do I put in the box? No. If 1 is a root, what number do I put in the box? 1. Here, let's just do it. Okay, drop the number down, multiply.
2,
Add.
1, negative 1. 3, 3, 0.
Ooh, the remainder came out 0. If the remainder, this is the factor theorem, people. If the remainder comes out 0, that means x minus the number in the box is one of the factors, which means, of course, 1 is a solution, right? Doesn't that make sense? Bang.
Also, is this the one that you like? Oh wait. Oh, this. Wait. I'll get back to that.
Okay.
Oh, is that the one that you guess and check? The one that we did in
Yeah, but you don't have to guess and check on tonight's homework because I'm telling you one of the roots. Later on, like 3 sections from now, I'm just going to tell you, solve this equation with no hints. There's no hints. So you have to figure out what number goes in that box. You guys remember anything about that? Just random guess and hope and pray that the remainder comes out 0.
Yeah, that's what we did.
No, there was a way. Does anybody remember? I told you not to raise your hand. Come here.
You just go and like take like the first one and the second one.
Okay, stop this thing already.
Multiply it all out.
No, EA, 9, yeah. No. Okay, let's just move on. One of the factors is x minus 1. Why? Because the remainder came out 0. X minus the number in the box is one of the factors. What's the other factor? Where do I get the other factor from? You look at the depressed coefficients. That stands for 2x squared minus x plus 3 and then equals 0. And then of course, once you get it down to a quadratic over here, what? Either you factor it or use the quadratic formula, right? Is that factorable?
Yes.
Yes. I think not. No. So your solutions are 1 and you have to use the quadratic formula on this. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. What is 1 minus 24? Oh, so that's factorable? I don't think so. So what are the other 2 answers?
1 plus or minus
1
root
plus
23i over 4.
I root 23 over 4 and 1 minus I root 23 over 4. Those are your 3 roots. See, so when you're trying to solve an equation when the power is 3 or bigger, you do synthetic division. If the remainder comes out 0, that means x minus the number in the box is one of the factors. Is this all coming back like a bad dream, or is you just befuddled? Oh, gosh. Okay, let me pass back the test.
Is that on video?
No, we're going to turn off the video now. Because we don't want any swearing on the video.